Then in 2010, when that Higher Truth and a Life Review came about, I remember when in 2010 I had this. It's a very funny story. My wife was wanted to do meditation, and I always wanted to do meditation, and I was never able to get to meditating. I mean, I don't know why. I, I mean, with all the knowledge that I had, I couldn't get there. So they were giving free classes nearby, and we saw the ad, and my wife said, "Hey, let's go there. I want to try meditation." I said, "Okay, let's do it." So we went there. The teacher did all his give a short lecture to then do about 10-15 minutes of meditation, and then he goes with that little thing that goes cling and end up the meditation. So we went there, we started meditating. So here I am, closing my eyes, waiting for that moment to come that never came, and bling, I knew it. I just knew it. So, but I was pleasing my wife. So, so the following week, she said, "I want to do it again." Okay, let's go there. So same thing happened. I did meditation, tried to, never happened. Okay, cling. All right. I'm still pleasing my wife. Third time. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Now, this third time, while I was waiting for that bling to come out, suddenly, 5 seconds, and I didn't say 5 minutes, I said 5 seconds before that little thing came on, I suddenly went into a spiral. And when I touched bottom, an inner voice told me, "From now on, you're not going to learn from outside sources, and moving forward, everything is going to be learned from within." Cling! I was so furious, so angry, so frustrated. How come I have never been able to meditate? And now that I do, 5 seconds before that little thing, you didn't give me a chance to ask questions, to know what's going on, to go through the experience. I was banging my head against the steering wheel and cursing. I mean, my wife was, like, calm down. Said, "You don't understand my frustration. How could that happen?" Then we went the following week and nothing happened. So that's it. And what was prophesied in 2010 came to pass on July 7, 2011, when the Spirit of Light manifested through my son's voice to remind me of an agreement that took place and grant me access to higher truth so I can finish my lifelong quest and begin my work. And this is my work. Going back to July 7, 2011, the following day after that event took place, where the Spirit of Light manifested through my son's voice, I woke up. I had this urge to write. I'm not a writer. I don't even like to read. I read because I have no choice. And I took my laptop and I said, "What am I doing here?" I opened my laptop and I began to type, not knowing what I was about to type, because I had no clue. What am I going to type about? Little did I know that I was transcribing verbatim, word by word, what took place the night before. Call it automatic writing, because I do not have that ability. I cannot. I mean, you might give me your name, and 5 minutes later, I had to remind you to give me your name. That type of person I am with names and with things. I know the macro, but tell them the micro, that then the 1970s, this happened and such, and I cannot. I can see that long ago something happened, and this is it, but not defined. I don't have that ability. And that first transcription, it's today on my the website, First Transcript, which is a transcription of what took place word by word. As that Spirit of Light answered all those questions that I couldn't get an answer from humanity. And basically, that is the basis of all the transcripts. without, and the message is coming forward without theological ties. There's no religion whatsoever in any of that. It makes reference to religion, certain aspects of religion, but not pointing out that this is it. Just points out. But it was given to me at the level that I could understand at the time. So for you or your audience that wants to go to my webpage and start reading the transcript, be aware that the first transcript was given at a level that I could understand at the time. And further transcripts are going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So the following day, after that first transcription, I began to wake up between 1 and 3 a.m. to download information so beautifully understood by me, yet so complex to many. I understood perfectly everything that I was getting, or what people call today downloading, because that's the new word of today, downloading. But I was getting what I learned to call insights of higher truth, because one thing is the truth that we know, and another thing is higher truth. And to answer the question that your audience may have of what is higher truth? Well, higher truth, that question. And they gave me the answer by taking me back to my first grade when the teacher told me, class, today we're going to learn the basis of all the numbers. We're going to learn to count from 1 to 10. And I recited those 10 numbers, believing that those numbers were the totality of the numbers, which was true. Actually, it's 0 to 1. I mean, 0 to 9, because 10 goes to 20, 30, 40, 50. But for a child is, let's learn to count from 1 to 10. And I recited those 10 numbers flawlessly. But deception came in the next day when the teacher said, class, today we're going to learn to count from 10 to, wait a minute. I mean, was I lying? No, I was just giving higher truth. In other words, first, you need to learn to count numbers, to then learn to add and subtract, to then learn to multiply and divide before you can get to algebra. It's like a child. You first need to learn to roll, then to crawl, then to walk, and then to run. See? And going back, as I was transcribing all that information, at first I was writing it. But I mean, can you imagine just waking in the middle of the night trying to write? You're not writing, you're scribbling. Say, no, wait a minute, this is not working. So I took my phone and I started recording. But then again, when you record, when you are half asleep, you are just mumbling words. So, but that's the way it is. So I start recording those that information that I was getting so clearly in my head, and I understood perfectly what they meant. And that's what I do. I take that higher truth and I publish on every Sunday morning. When you wake up, you'll get the latest transcript that I was able to publish. Today I'm transcribing. I have over 500 transcripts. And today I'm still working with 2012. So imagine how much information I have here that I have yet not disclosed. And that's what I do. I help people understand our true nature, our origin, and the purpose of life without theological ties this time around.
That's so important.
And the purpose is very simple: to help you get off from this treadmill to nowhere that we are in right now. People are so confused with so many religions, so many beliefs, so many. It is complicated that people have lost their sense of direction. And my job is helping them understand this higher truth so they transcend and not keep reincarnating in this treadmill to nowhere, because we still don't get it. And until we get it, I mean, it is like like I just said, it's like we're still counting from 1 to 10, or some people have learned to add and subtract. But many of us, to give you an example, you know that 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 plus 4 is 6. But if you subtract -4 plus 2 equals -2. And some people don't get that. I mean, if I have 2 apples here and you have apples, you give me, I have 4 apples, but I cannot give you more than I have of what I have in my hands and end up with a negative number. Yes, you do, but you don't get it. And that's more likely to like higher truth. And one of the things that I have asked, for instance, is to give a message at the end of every lecture or interview that I take, that I give. And the message is as follows. If we ever understand that we are one infinite mind, endlessly expanding through the physical and spirit realm, limitless, then we will be able to comprehend that the physical world is only an illusion. Now, let me explain this higher truth at another level.
Please do.
At a very simplified elementary level, most people will understand that I am an infinite mind and you are an infinite mind and he's an infinite mind and that other person is an infinite mind. No, it means that we all are just one infinite mind. That's why we are one. You've heard a lot of people saying, oh, we are one, we are one, we are one. Most people don't know what that means or how deep that goes. Understanding that we all are one infinite mind, endlessly expanding through the physical and spiritual realm, limitless, unless knowing where we come from. Because we have been taught that we come from a God that gives and takes at will. We were created to what purpose? Why are we here? And many of us do not make sense to that, what we have been taught. And when you go deeper into that, you see, so what was the purpose? And the answer is, oh, because of love. Why? Why am I through all this hell on earth? Because I was created out of love. What about that child that was molested? What about that woman that physical abuse? What about slavery? Why are we here? Why we end up we did wrong that we ended up here, as most of people ask. But the day you understand that what happened was that you got separated from the source and you created your own individuality, that you were not created out of thin air, and that you are here today because you have evolved lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of who you are today, then you can go retrospectively and start understanding why things are happening to you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Other people say that we are energy, that we are vibration. We're not energy, we're not vibration. We manifest through energy. We manifest through vibration. Vibration is movement and time. It does not exist. It does exist. Not as we know it, but it does exist. We're not vibration. We're not energy. We manifest through it. We are the self. We're not the verb. The self is the subject. The verb or the predicate is what makes us move. So everything comes from the mind. If we ever understand that we are one infinite mind, and that infinite mind is what many, many times ago was said once. I remember when I was a child learning through my Catholic school teacher. I think I was 7 or 8 years old. I will never forget these words, that God felt lonely and he wanted to see himself. That's a great metaphor. It is a metaphor. How can God, and check this out, how can God feel lonely if he is perfect? and wanted to see himself. Is he wanted to see himself something that you don't have, you didn't have, and you wanted to have? And if you wanted to see, if he wanted to see himself, and that himself is the duality or the same thing as God, doesn't this God wanted to see himself too as well? Yes. And he wanted to see himself and wanted to see himself and wanted to see himself. That's why we all are one infinite mind, endlessly expanding through the physical and spiritual world, limitless. Why physical and spiritual world? Because we transition from the spiritual to physical through reincarnation, because we want to keep doing the same thing, or we have to fix what we've done wrong, or we want to reap the fruit of our actions. Because people think that karma or reincarnating through karma is a bad thing, it's a death pain process. No, because how many talents you carry with you, how many good things you carry with you that you have developed through reincarnation over reincarnation. And today you have the patience that this other guy does not have. The
Do we,
knowledge.
sorry, do we take things with us? So if we develop patience, if we learn, let me think of something, patience that is worthwhile, maybe resilience, maybe we learn how to be a good storyteller. Do we carry this then in other lives?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me give an example. I am an example of that. I play the clarinet, the flute by ear. My siblings don't have that ability. Not even my father or my mother. I brought that with me. Some people have the ability to ability a lot of things. Like I said before, I I don't have not that ability yet. And it's not, there are people that can tell you such and such person in such a year, such a date, and such an hour did this or did that. I do not have that ability. I don't. You have your talents that you know that they don't come from your parents, that you brought them with you. That is that you have some principles that are yours, very yours, that don't come from your family. You have, for example, in case I'm a great listener. I can spend hours listening to people. My wife can. My wife talking all the time. So, so we have brought with us, we bring with us everything that we have learned. Let me give you an example. Everybody should know by now that you are the sum total of all your experiences since you were born, right? From the very day that you were born, the way your parents taught you, the way you perceive things, uh, the way you learn things are very unique. Your experiences are very unique. I mean, you can experience both, two people can experience the same thing, but yet one sees it differently than yours. That's because of the previous experiences they had in their lifetime. To you, water will be a great, peaceful place to be, but to someone that almost drowned when he was a child will fear water, just to give you an example. So, so you are the sum total of all your experiences since you were born, the way you were treated by your, I mean, you could have good parents, a good environment, crappy environment. I mean, all your surroundings, if you were bullied or you were whatever, all those experiences, they all go into a blender, you mix it up, and then you drink your own juice. That's you. You are total of all those experiences, right? Okay. So we all can that. Now, if I take you one step further, you are the sum total of all your experiences since creation took form, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It all that had built up, would add to that blender of all your experiences of this life, add to that all the experience from previous life, put it in a blender that makes you who you are today. That's why you may have some fears that you don't know where are they coming from. Some inclines of I've been here before. Some people, I know this person, places, people, environments, beliefs, understandings. They are the sum total of all your experiences. And the of cause and effect is as active in this life and with previous lives. Today, just to give you an example, through this higher truth, I've learned all the things that I have done in the past, not all the things, some have done in the past, and I can see the repercussion in this very life. And that gives me clarity to understand that is not the will of whoever might want to, or coincidence, or fate, but the consequences of my previous life actions that today I have to deal with. And people spend a lifetime blaming others for their mishaps, when all the mishaps are the result of this or previous life experiences. And once you embrace it and once you understand that, that's when you start making sense out of life and live in conformity. But people today don't want to live in conformity. They want to excel, go here, go there, and every time they find a roadblock and a roadblock, no, I got to overcome that roadblock. And there's the 1% that makes it, that tells you, yes, you can do it. It's like, for example, my wife tells me that you can do everything that you want. Yeah, right. Here's the clarinet. Play it. You won't be able to play it like I do. If you, I mean, just to give an example, when I tried the clarinet for the first time, I was probably about 8 years old, and I was taught how to use the reed. And when I start blowing the horn, I realized I do have this ability. And my father took it away from me because I was playing better than him. So I took it on my own while my dad was working. I just got in the closet and put it on. I practiced it, and then I put it back, and my father never knew. But it was like an instinct. I was drawn into that because most likely in a previous life, I had that experience. Now, ask me to play the piano. It's going to take me forever because I do not have that ability. Give me a wind instrument and I can get it like this. Previous life experiences. And when you learned about your previous lives and why you're here and our true origin, which I just gave you as a message, then life will start making sense. But for that, we need to unlearn everything that we were taught, as I had to do when I had my death experience in 1979. I had to learn to unlearn everything that I was taught in order for me to start grasping this much needed higher truth. Now, do you want me to take you one step further?
Yeah.
Okay. You are the sum total of all your experiences since the first movement. When you separated from the source, remember that metaphor that I gave you? God wanted to say himself because he felt lonely. So that's who you are. You are the sum total of all your experiences since you first moved, because you got separated. And my job is help you to find your way back home so you can return to the source of your existence, so you can go back in union with the self, with yourself, with who you therefore the physical world is only an illusion. Now, people, I've heard people that, when I do the interview, I section, not all of them because it becomes overwhelming. But some people say, right, yeah, if this is an illusion, how come it hurts? My body aches and it hurts. Yes, it does. Of course it does, because you're in a physical body. However, when you are dreaming, are you running, walking, speaking, sweating? Are you afraid? Aren't you happy? Yet you're still dreaming. And where you're dreaming, are you saying, no, this is not true, this is a dream? No, it is very, 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 very real, to the point that some people wake up in the middle of the night, I had this dream. Or people wake up and don't want to go out, or don't want to do this or do that because they had a dream. It does affect your life because it is part of the experience of the soul while the body rests. The soul never sleep. While the body rests, the soul keep experiencing life. Times they experience life because of something that happened throughout the day that the soul wants to experience one more time, or fear of something that you don't want to go through. So you go through that experience not wanting to go through because of the fear that brought to you.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have a dream because you pinch your arm and you dream that someone cut off your arm. It's just a manifestation of the physical and the and the spiritual uh, unison. Sometimes you receive messages. I receive many messages, many messages. Uh, but are you going to tell me that dreams do not exist? They are experiences of the soul because we are one infinite mind endlessly expanding. So, so yes, this physical world is an illusion. You know how many things had happened to you throughout your lifetime and you're still here?
That's exactly what I try to always think of whenever, what I'll say is whenever I'm feeling down or upset, or there's just something that I'm thinking I have no idea how I'm going to get past this. And I always say, well, my success rate with things that I had no idea how I was going to get past is 100%, because for some reason I'm still here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been countless things since I was a child, like small things, of course, but there's always been things where you have this exam, for instance, and you think, oh, I understand nothing. How am I ever going to get through it? But there you go. You're here now. So your success rate for every disease you've ever had, for every intellectual challenge, for every even heartbreak that you've had is 100% because you're still standing.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me at least a bit to face challenges.
Those are life experiences that you're taking with you, and you are adding that to your personal blender. And what's our job in this earth plane? To understand who we are so we can transcend and overcome all those obstacles. And once we have understanding that higher truth, we begin to be in peace with ourselves. It's like, for example, the Buddhist monks, not religion attached, just an example. The Buddhist monk, they go up on into the mountains, totally away from society. And people say, oh, they don't know what they're missing. And they probably are smiling and saying, you don't know what you are missing. Because one of the things that we need to learn to do is to detach, because attachments are what are keeping us holding on to this physical world, the attachment. And you can see it on the spirit world. When people die, they want to communicate through a medium, and the spirit is still communicating with you because they still have not detached. They're still bounded to this earth, wanted to keep manifesting or sharing with those who are still alive, and many of them are just stranded in between both worlds instead of transcending, so they can learn other things somewhere else to then reincarnate to reap the fruit of their actions or to pay some debts.
So explain that to me, because I don't know that I understand it fully. So how do attachments then keep us stuck? And I think there's two perspectives here. There's the one where we're all living beings. So what keeps us attached when we're on this earth? And then the second one is people that have crossed over and that have passed away from our earth. What kind of things are keeping them attached, and how can they detach and transcend?
Well, most of the time is misunderstanding. When people, for example, died and go to the other side and they are holding on or attached to the physical world, they will not transcend because they don't want to. Remember, all is about free will. As an infinite mind, we have free will, period. My mother died in the year 2000. We're in 2024, 24 years after. Still around. She still communicates. She still wants to experience uh, sharing our lives with her because she is still attached. Other times, or other beings, or others that have this higher truth understand what is taking place and they just detach. Now, attachment is nothing more than wanting to experience something one more time. That's attachment. That's what you see. I don't know if you've seen those, I don't know what kind of monks that they play with sand and they make figures, very complex figures, beautiful. They have an art with, with beautiful, take them hours to design something. And when they're done, they raise it up because that is a way for them to learn to detach from the fruit of their actions. But many of us wants to try things one more time and one more time and one more time. Detaching is letting go. Just to give an example. Okay. I used to drink a lot of sodas. Like many of us, we got hooked on this advertising process of helping you believe that this is good for you. Okay. And one day I realized that that was harming me badly, badly. I actually lost one kidney. The one that was punctured, I lost it due to cancer. Because even though it healed, there was a speck that was left. It encapsulated in a small tumor, and but mutation over mutation, and the very unhealthy lifetime that I had throughout the years, because I was driven by the media and the promotional and the taste and the and whatever. I lost my kidney, so I stopped drinking sodas. But it wasn't easy because I was attached to it. I was attached to the flavor, to the feeling, to what that gave me after a while and after I drank the soda. So I learned to detach by first not wanting to participate on that, vicious cycle. It took a lot of energy on my part. But today, years later, I'm totally detached. I don't need it at all. Same thing applies with many things. So here's a lesson. If you want to learn to detach, start with small things, things that you can handle. I detach from soda. I detach from killing and eating flesh. I detach from many other things, little by little, one detachment at a time, up to the ultimate attachment, which is life. And I don't expect you to go that far. And people might say, well, I won't be able to accomplish all that. So what's the use if I'm going to die and then I'm going to reincarnate? Remember that what you have this lifetime, you're going to take it with you. Like me playing the clarinet. I took it with me because of I don't know how many lifetimes learning and learning and learning. And I brought it with me. I mean, you can sheet of paper and start writing your talents. That's a good exercise. Start writing your talents, those talents that you know that they don't come from your parent, neither from this life experience. Start writing those talents. Start writing those fears. It's gonna get to a point in which you realize that those are coming from previous lives. And once you do that, then you'll be able to overcome them instead of blaming others for what happens to you. I mean, people don't blame others for all the virtues that you have. People blame others for all the bad things. And that's why many people think that karma is a debt-paying process. It's not. It is the law of cause and effect. What goes around comes around. That's why through the transcript, those ascended masters that gave me the message, which are called the collective forces of knowledge and wisdom, have said repeatedly, there's the golden rule. But the golden rule is said in a different way, in which they say, don't do harm to anyone, because any harm that you do to anyone is doing harm on yourself. What goes around comes around. So, I mean, like I said before, I can speak for hours and hours and hours, and you have to stop me, or or you need to ask me more questions or put an end to it, because I can keep going and going and going.
I love your message, and I think it's so beautiful that we've gotten to learn a bit more about why we're really here. And I especially resonate and love the part of your message about, not blaming others for the reactions they trigger in us. And I think that's something that we see so often, saying, this person annoys me, or they have done this to me, or they have behaved badly. But the thing is, when we look at ourselves, we cannot be hurt unless there's something going on there. So others do not have the power upon us, but we have the power to let ourselves be hurt or be happy by other people. So when we start looking inwards, there's so much more to uncover. And it's beautiful because whilst we cannot change others to make them please us, we can change ourselves and we can work on ourselves. So that's absolutely within our control. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Francisco, what I wanted to end on is, how can people find your work?
Yeah, thank you for asking. People can go to my website. It is titled thetranscript.org, thetranscript.org, O-R-G. Uh, you can put it in the comment or description for people to look into it. I'll send you the link, or you create the link to my webpage. If you go to my webpage and scroll down to the bottom, on every page there's a subscribe to the latest. When you subscribe, I will automatically will send you the first transcript for you to read, and every subsequent Sunday you will receive the latest transcript. You can also reach the transcript through the transcript tab, and you can click on the tab and you can scroll and see all the transcripts that are available for you to read. And there's also a tutorial next to the transcript tab. There's a tutorial that that I want everyone to read first, so they can know how to read the transcripts. I'm actually also have a YouTube channel where I put my lectures. Nowadays, everything is short, so I'm taking all those and put them in short for people to get it. So if you subscribe to my YouTube page, you can also see that. And I am in the process of creating more videos, because I've realized that this new generation rather be watching videos than having to read all that stuff. And I have a lot of other projects in the making. It's just that I am a one-man band, and my resources are limited. So if anyone can put a charitable donation, I will gladly accept it, so I can keep doing my job, expanding. I am in the process of revising my NDE book into a second edition, which will come soon. Then there's another book that I have in the making, in the finishing touches, depicting the first step from beginning to end, explaining every single piece of conversation that we had. And my third and final book, which is going to be the book that I might title Transcending, which will help you understand this higher truth and to start using not the knowledge, but to start putting into practice what you learn to help you detach. And by detaching, you transcend. It's like I mean, you can have this knowledge and you can choose to keep living in the physical world because it's a world of our own creation. And if you are still wanting to experience the world, there's nothing wrong with that. You can keep experiencing life throughout this physical world, but please do it correctly. Do it the right way, helping everybody become one while in the physical world. But if, on the other hand, you feel that you have done enough and you just want to go back home, return back home, I will give you the tools to get there because uh, it is like religion. I mean, the religions take you to the same ocean, but through different routes. This one, to me, in my opinion, is a shortcut. No metaphors to play around with, because the problem with metaphor is that people have taken those metaphors as true, as real facts when they're just metaphor. Example: Adam, Eve, apple, serpent. Those are metaphors. Lord, Father, those are metaphors. And I can keep going with metaphors, and people believe them to be what they're not. They're just metaphors. And if we like just that I gave you with what I saw, how perception works, the word serenity, what you saw. If you put all this, what I talked today, you put all this together, you will come out with some different higher truth that you had before. And that will make you start thinking uh, on on learning what you wrongly learned and try to go back without theological ties this time around, because this is the I'm not bringing anything new. All this is as old as time can be. It's just a human nature and human writings what have created this convolution because of their interpretation of that higher truth. But if we can go straight without those theological ties or metaphors around it, and we can see the true essence of our existence, then we will have a north and head that way. And I think that is my whole message. And I hope that many, many, many of your listeners and your audience can get to those transcripts and they can better understand. Again, I don't want you to forget about the whole world and go back home if you don't want to. But if you don't want to and you want to keep living this life, do it the right way, please. And because we have right, and that's why humanity keep crumbling and crumbling and heading that way. Once again, I mean, we're like this huge ship that is heading to the rocks, and we don't see those rocks. It's terrible. Anyways,